Ah, here they come, the Vokes Brigade, stopping old MacDonald from slaughtering young Wickham chickens, probably wearing beige. Hello and welcome to the Big Bank Theory Podcast. My name's John, I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
I mean, we're 3/4 of the way through the season, I'm running out of material.
I don't know what any of that meant. Boys Brigade?
No, like Woke Brigade.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, the bloody woke. Woke Brigade.
That was the joke.
Go woke, go broke.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Eating a vegan latte. It's not a thing. Anyway, Exeter City away at Adams Park. Come away with a point. 1-1 Wickham Wanderers.
Yes.
Very nice.
Enjoyable match.
Enjoyable match. Maybe a corner starting to appear in the distance that we might be turning around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's positive. We said last week we'd take a draw.
Yeah.
So we have to then take the draw that we said we would take.
Who checks up on that?
Well, nobody.
All right. Well,
I mean,
good.
we've said so many things that are completely wrong, stupid, ill thought out.
Even in the last 2 minutes.
Like constantly, and no one's ever called us out on it, really.
No, if you want to call us out, remember you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways at BigBankPod or BigBankPod@gmail.com.
Bloody love to be called out at this point.
Call us right out.
Yeah.
120 episodes in, and you lot haven't got the spine to call us out.
Yeah. Come on.
Sort
throw a
yourselves
pair.
out. I tell you who would call us out, Gary Caldwell.
Yeah, you
I
reckon?
think he'd give us what for?
He sort of seemed to be saying in the pre-match interview that he doesn't really do that. He sort of doesn't really kind of like. Or he might have said he might a bit sort of have a go at them, but mostly sort of doesn't. It's not. I don't think it's his style.
Oh, cancel the Caldwell call out.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we started very poorly, conceded very early on.
Well, yeah, we did concede very early on, but we were actually good.
Well, yeah, all right.
I mean, it's hard to be good before that because I don't think we even had the ball, but like in the immediate aftermath of the goal, we played really well.
The goal came from Alex Hartridge forgetting, presumably, who he was, where he was, what he was supposed to be doing, how to do it, and what would happen if he didn't do it.
Yeah, poor decision making that. What on earth he was trying to do.
So he's kind of at left-back
know.
position, isn't he?
Left centre-back, kind of advanced role, I'd say.
Yeah, but at this point in the game, and so he's near the byline, and he thinks, I know what I'll do.
Well, I think he's trying to get the ball to Pierce Sweeney, who's obviously the right of the centre-backs.
Yeah.
To pull it off, he would have had to sort of thread the ball through two Wickham players, first Vokes, and then another one for it to even have had a chance to get to Sweeney. Poor. I think, and I always think this, and it's probably wrong and bollocks, but...
Wrong and bollocks.
Yeah. You know, these days it's kind of like, and this sounds a bit like Richard Keys, but it's all like about playing out from the back.
Yeah.
And the old adage of centre-back, never pass it across your goal.
Yeah.
Which we all learnt growing up, you know, is kind of the first thing you'd ever...
Yeah,
one of the
first piece of tactical information.
Yeah. Like first and only, really, if you're playing centre-back as a kid, that you don't ever do that, yeah. And now it's like, oh, no, now you're supposed to you are allowed to do that. And it's all about playing out from the back, no matter how, you just got to find your man and play it out like that. And I think it's sort of like, I think that's kind of caused a bit of confusion in some people's brains where they kind of like, it's going against your instinct that you kind of like learned since, you know, you were...
Small child.
Yeah. And it's going to lead to errors, isn't it? Especially when you're trying to execute these things at, let's be honest, not exactly the top level.
So, for what top prize was Alex Hartridge willing to bend all the laws of common sense for? That's right. He was trying to get the ball to another centre-back who was further back down the pitch than he was.
Yeah.
So, it didn't work.
At that point, you could have just chipped a little ball into the channel, couldn't you? Even if it didn't go anywhere near anyone.
Yeah. It would have been a better choice to, and I mean this, turn and face the stand and kick it at them.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't have led to a goal.
No.
So that obviously is a better choice.
Well, yeah, but like that would have seemed less weird than what.
Yeah,
you tried
well,
to
the only thing I can think is that he's got his mind's elsewhere. Lambing season's coming.
do. Same joke.
Obvious, that means, isn't it? And
Do you think you should stop picking? Like in the same way that Dennis Bergkamp couldn't play games that weren't drivable or catching the train for. Do you think Alex Hartridge should stop playing games between the end of August and the end of September for harvest?
I was going to say when's harvest? Yeah.
Yeah, and then March for lambing.
Yeah, I think it's probably wise. Yeah.
We'll have to bring in a stand-in for farming season.
Yeah.
There you go. All
Well,
right.
I mean, the work doesn't stop in the spring. Farming continues all year round.
True.
So I think maybe he just needs to get a grip.
Fair play to the stewards at St James Park who managed to, in between, like Nombe's Beamer and Harper's Merc, managed to make a space for Alex Hartridge's combine because those things aren't small and they do a good job.
No, come on. I mean, he obviously comes on the quad bike, doesn't he?
Yeah, maybe.
Leave the combine at the park and ride, and do the rest on the quad.
On the quad. Do you know what that really irks me when I see someone riding a quad round town?
Does it?
Yeah.
Because you think that shouldn't be allowed, but it is.
No, because I think you look ridiculous. Is what I think.
You don't see it often.
No, you don't. So it really gets to me.
They are roadworthy, though, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they're more roadworthy than a motorbike, really.
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
what annoys
yeah.
me so much, but there we are. So that was 1-0.
Yeah.
Very early on.
Such an annoying way to start.
Was it 2 minutes in?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh right, okay, so it just changes the whole game, doesn't it? It's like starting with a handicap, but we did well even straight after that.
Yeah.
Really didn't let it affect us, and we were kind of we were still straight at them. Fair play to them, for not kind of buckling or anything after that.
And you forget, don't you, with Wickham, in my mind, they're basically us from however long ago we playing them, 6-8 years ago, and with a kind of stodgy kind of play, they've worked their way up the leagues, but they got some really good players, not just David Wheeler, but Vokes is,
Yeah, who's the other fellow up front as well who hit the post? I thought he was quite good.
Yeah, they're really a lower championship squad, aren't they? So to hold our own, I know we made that stupid mistake, but to hold our own in general play that first half, is praiseworthy.
Definitely, and especially after, like I said, after such a bad start. So we had a couple of chances pretty soon after that, really, for Dimitri Mitchell.
Yep.
First one's difficult; it's on his wrong foot. Does well, but
he's closed down quickly, isn't he? Second
one, he really got to put his foot through it. Collins finds him breaking the back line of Wickham. That's bad. He's all on his own. And it seems that all he's got to do is smash it. He's got enough time to adjust onto his better foot.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of doesn't get hold of it at all, and it's sort of easy for the keeper to save it.
Yeah, he's leaning back in that way that if you're really clever, it makes you look like you're putting it far side of the keeper and actually put it near side. But he leans back and puts it far side. He's got no power. Keeper's trailing leg gets it. It's. You're not going to get many chances like that, especially against a team like Wickham. And disappointing not to.
Yeah, although he actually had 3 chances in the game. But anyway, we battled on. At half-time, still 0-0. This
no,
interesting
1-0.
1-0, sorry.
Yeah.
Interesting kind of lineup. Obviously, Caldwell changes it again.
Yep. There was some fear, wasn't there, out there that he was going to do something wacky, but actually it was fairly straightforward.
Well, from the way it looked, as a list, the players on there, it looked to me this. So we were like, is this? Looks like we've got too many centre midfielders, which is what happened in the end. But you suddenly then worry, does this mean that Harry Kite's going to go right wing back and he's putting Josh Key back in at kind of number 10?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh please no, surely not, especially after last week at St James Park. He doesn't do that.
No.
He kind of goes with almost 4 centre midfielders.
Yes.
Except it's not really, because Collins is kind of more in that kind of Giovanni role.
Yeah. Which he's kind of growing into, actually, isn't he?
I'm not against it. I think, like I said, he's creating that chance for
Mitchell.
Yeah. That wouldn't happen if he's further back. So that's very promising. And Harper in there alongside McDonald and Kite and Collins.
Yeah.
And I think it worked. I think it seemed, apart from that, I mean, the goal they scored has nothing to do with anything apart from Alex Hartridge's like absent-mindedness.
No, they did hit the post, didn't they, in the first half also?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, we weren't like all over them. They had chances as well. That's kind of what I meant by it was a good game. It was kind of open. It was like, but Harper, look, he didn't do anything wrong. He was tidy. Didn't really affect the game positively or negatively, particularly. But I thought, as on the whole, that system was decent. Obviously, with an extra man in the middle, it's useful, isn't it? You know, for control, and I think control is all is what Coldwell wants.
Yeah, I'm sure that's correct, and it's getting that balance, isn't it, between stodge and control and attacking threat versus defensive solidity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think on the whole, got it about right on Saturday.
I mean, obviously, we go there and we have some very good chances. We come away from that with a point, which is absolutely worth having, like we said before. We weren't very far away from picking up all three.
No, and at half time, I actually was thinking, I was like, I think we've done all right here. I think we're definitely still in this, you know. We've rode our luck a bit. Like I said, they hit the post. They had another really good chance. It went just over. I think probably should have done better on. But it did feel like that. It wasn't like, you can see how this is going. We're never going to score here. I was still positive half time. And then credit to Caldwell as well. Like, we continued the second half in a similar kind of vein, really. And then he affected the game with the substitutes.
Yeah, so let's get our timings right on this. So it was, I mean...
So Harper comes off for Stansfield, right?
Yeah, I think that was what was happening, wasn't it? Sometimes he does a bit of jiggery-pokery, doesn't he? But I think, on the whole, it was fairly straightforward. So, yeah, on 62, it's the Harper-Stansfield swap.
Yeah, which I think means, you know, like Collins slots back into where Harper had been playing and Stansfield moves up further, sort of more where Collins was, but obviously a bit more attack-minded even than Archie.
And a bit more pace as well.
Yeah.
And it only takes 5 minutes and we get the equaliser.
Well, it's lovely. It's great. It's great play. And it's more of what we'd seen from Jay Stansfield at the beginning of the season. He gets the ball, turns his man beautifully, and then he plays that little reverse pass, which we saw lead to a Nombe goal at Argyle away.
Yeah.
And I think the other one might have been Peterborough at home when he's done that. I'd sort of forgotten about it because it's been a while since we've seen him pull one off. And then Nombe, really good effort across the keeper.
Yeah.
Keeper manages to get a hand on it. But again, another thing that Caldwell's been saying and doing in the last thing is getting those extra players following in.
Yeah.
And Kevin McDonald hadn't scored for 50 years or whatever. And two in a space of 7 days.
Yeah.
8 days.
Yeah. I'm not saying Kevin McDonald's old, but the last time he scored, pre-Exeter City, there weren't nets and he had to go and fetch it from the North Sea. Yeah, it was... I mean, that's the kind of coaching. That's the kind of thing you need. How many times Exeter City do we see brilliant balls or brilliant chances and there's just no one there?
Yeah, not enough bodies in the box
Not
in the
enough bodies
past,
in the box.
definitely. And then, you know, you've got... That could have been Collins following in. That could have been Harry Kite following in. Or Mitchell or Josh Key, or I know it was McDonald, and he was in exactly the right place, and it kind of just hits him and goes in. Really,
hits him, doesn't it?
That's, you know, that's not a criticism. It's like he's in the right place.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And Nombe's effort was brilliant. That the keeper could save it, but actually it was always going to be difficult for the follow up. So
yeah,
1-1.
Great goal. Really pleased with it, and it's and then you're like, yeah, this is good, and we could have won the game. You know.
Yeah, so that's with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah,
25. He makes one more change. So he's not going overboard on subs, is he? But he is being a bit more incisive than perhaps Taylor was, certainly in Taylor's earlier seasons. Joe White comes on for Kite, which is probably, again, a bit more attacking.
Yeah.
White's a more attacking player than Kite, isn't he, I would say.
Yeah, I think he saw the opportunity that this is a game we could win here, rather than stick with your away point, which would be extremely tempting to do. And obviously, ultimately, we did get the away point. But, to make that change there, bring off Kite for and bring Joe White on, someone who definitely has a lot less defensive kind of chops than Harry Kite.
Yeah.
And much more keen to get forward and involved in the kind of like attacks, that it showed that we were trying to win that game. And we nearly did, because Dimitri Mitchell had a ball bounce out to him that he had a lot of time to hit. Again, this is the third chance I talked about, and he probably should have hit the target. But, on another day, I think 3 chances fallen to him like those ones. I think, we've already seen him score since he's come in. He's looked dangerous. I think on another day, one of those would go in,
Yeah, I think that's right. I think even though his finishing wasn't great, keeper got lucky on one, certainly. And yeah. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Because Colwell, my kind of general impression of Colwell was, well, we'll take that point and we'll move on, kind of thing. And actually, that wasn't what was going on there, I don't think.
No, but it is what happened, and that's still good.
Absolutely.
So it almost did feel like a bit of a consolation prize, didn't it? Because although I think, on balance, totally fair result. Like I said, Wickham had
good chances
that they wasted or were unlucky with. And, yeah, happy with that. Good point.
1-1. Yeah, so Wickham are,
there was the weird Sweeney booking.
Remind me.
So
what happened?
Sweeney kicks the ball away, and then the ref kind of like looks to sort of tell him off, but then doesn't book him, and then they're all sort of jogging away. Sweeney's jogging back in the same direction as the ref, and then he kind of bumps into a Wickham player. Whether the Wickham player did it on purpose or not, I don't know, but then it forces Sweeney sort of to barge into the ref, like completely by accident. Like, it's no way he meant to do it. It's like a Wickham player nudges him, and then the ref just immediately books him.
Can't barge that ref.
And then, yeah, but there's no way it was for the kicking the ball away. So what does the ref just thinks that Sweeney's just run after him and shoulder barged him? It's bizarre. The ref is crap, obviously, but I mean, it's a given, isn't it?
He was particularly bad, though, this ref, wasn't he? There was
all
all
sorts
sorts of
every
things.
week. I mean, particularly bad is just the standard.
I know.
The refs are, I don't know.
On Sweeney,
At least the ref didn't kind of like really influence the result of the game one way or the other.
No, that's true. He didn't do.
Which is kind of the best you can hope for, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, we hope that the players are sensible enough to not need the ref to intervene in their match. So you see Sweeney's latest column, because this has been on the.
How long is he going to have this column for? Because surely Ameson's going to be taken over.
Well,
soon,
they've done a bit of both, haven't they? Ameson's written one too.
Oh, has he?
So Sweeney addressed the captaincy thing.
Oh, did he?
So apparently, when Jay went, Colwell said to Sweeney, "I'd like you to do it for now, but I can't say that people coming in won't be given it."
Okay.
So it was always kind of given to him as a like, "Could you do this for me for now, please?"
Okay. Presumably, Colwell already had his eye on Ameson.
Presumably,
at that point, yeah.
And also maybe when you go and get a player, or when you're trying to get a player, you say, you'll be club captain, you'll be a significant part of this team.
Yeah.
So at least we can now put to one side the suggestion that Colwell's doing kind of mad things and upsetting people in that way. Which, of course, we never really, if we were honest.
Well, no, we did. I think we did say at the time we don't know what's happening.
We don't know what's
and
happening.
And then all might be completely fine with this.
Yeah.
It was just more of a thing of like, at the time, we weren't getting any results, and it was just another thing to kind of like, that seemed to kind of like upset people a bit.
Yeah.
Which just didn't seem helpful at the time. But, I mean, like anything, you can kind of forgive these things if you're getting the results,
Yeah, but then even more forgive these things if you hear the explanations.
Yes.
And I guess that fits in with the growing picture that Colwell's actually quite a measured person, that's kind of his first impression, and then you start seeing kind of strange things, and you wonder, don't you? But that's in the column of actually quite a measured person and not just nuts or whatever. He's not Ian Holloway, which we never really suspected, if we're honest, but at the time...
we don't really know. We didn't... I mean, they're still in the early stages. It's not like we think, oh, that's out of character, because we don't really know...
No. What the
exactly
character
what
is.
his character is like, I mean, he did organise the SAS to kidnap one of his teams once, didn't he? So...
What?
You know this? I don't
No.
know the full details on it. I thought you already knew. Like, it's one who's... I can't remember who he's manager of. Maybe
Right.
Wigan, maybe one of those teams in Scotland, and he sort of got the SAS to come and kidnap them or something for like a kind of... I don't know why.
Team
really.
bonding.
Yeah.
Well, watch out, I suppose.
Well, you wouldn't do it again, would you? Because all the people would know. Oh, here they come. The SAS. Oh, no. You're not kidnapping me, are you, SAS?
Sure. I guess the element, you only get that once, don't you? That element of surprise.
You'd have to think of something else.
Yeah. The opposite. We
What
don't
is
want
the
you.
opposite of getting kidnapped by the SAS?
We don't want you. Oh, no, you're not coming to kidnap us, are you? No, we don't want you. We're kidnapping the women's team.
Right, that's dark.
Sorry, I didn't mean it to be.
Okay.
All right. Less dark things coming up after this. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. So the league table looks like this. Joy unconfined, Dan, because top of the league is now Sheffield Wednesday with a game in hand.
Yeah.
The Janners might not do it. Whereas in the more realistic, in the cooler end of the league table, as I like to think of it, Exeter City still sitting 12th, 43 points,
Yes.
which is very, well, that's getting close to the magic 50, isn't it? We're just going to have to start, by the way, there's loads of games tonight, Tuesday night, so anything we say now might be irrelevant or out of date by Wednesday morning.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, we've actually, everyone below us has played, directly below us pretty much has played the same amount of games
Yes.
as us. So it would be like, the league might change, but we'll have a kind of game in hand then.
That's
There's
true.
Quite a few of them.
That'll be the Barnsley game, I suppose, won't it? Which was called off.
Yes.
But we're going to have to start thinking, I think, that league position isn't so much of the thing, it's getting those points, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Port Vale directly below us have got the minus 14 goal average. And actually, there aren't many teams with goal average near us, below us. So that's obviously worth some pointage as well. Pointage not being a word. Lincoln City, Saturday, home to St James Park. Home at St James Park.
Yeah.
Home to Exeter City. There was the time, wasn't there? We were playing them all the time. Their stupid air raid siren, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
that's them, innit? Yeah.
That's them. Changed quite a lot since then, of course. Cowley's long gone.
Yeah,
Old,
it's Mark, what's his name?
Mark Kennedy.
Mark Kennedy, former Liverpool
Yeah.
and Wimbledon.
Played for Republic of Ireland for a lot of games.
Yeah, so he's new, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
We played them on the first day of the season.
Yeah, we drew that, didn't we?
Drew 1-1. Nombe goal.
We come to this with a bit of form, of course, for the first time in a while. Unbeaten in the last two.
Yeah. And Lincoln are also playing tonight against their away at Cambridge. They're on a funny run. They've drawn their last 4 matches.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
But, new manager and all that. We seem to be getting a lot of teams when they've just changed their manager at the moment, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, obviously, the
Imps.
the aim is to go and get that second home win in a row, isn't it? That would be
Yes.
fantastic.
We want to squash the Imps.
Is that what you do to imps?
Well, they're small, aren't they? That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, impish. Yeah, I suppose so.
Very small little things. I don't know what an imp is. It's like a little demon, is it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Horrible little demon. Why is Lincoln called that?
No idea. Something to do with the cathedral, is it? I don't know. Famous for a cathedral, isn't it, Lincoln?
Built by imps.
By imps. Of course, we're the original city with the Imperial pub.
That's true, yeah. They might be the imps, but we've got the MP.
Yeah. Yeah.
First ever Weatherspoons, of course.
Is that true?
Well, I don't know.
It's like the
But
capital
that
city of
weird,
Weatherspoons.
big, sort of lion-o head freak man who runs them all,
Tim Martin.
Tim Weatherspoon.
Yeah.
He obviously is from here. So maybe
Is
I'm
he
based.
from here or does he just live here?
I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about it.
He
I'm
lives.
just
In,
saying this
he
for-
lives in St Leonard's. We know that, don't we?
Does he?
Hmm.
Wow. Amongst other sort of notable twats, as Katie Hopkins.
Yeah, she's out though, isn't she now?
Is she?
She's ex St Leonard's.
Right, good.
Good.
But I mean, most people in St Leonard's are of that ilk. No,
Wow.
No offence.
Wow. Wow.
It's just all those sort of types there, isn't it?
We might have to redact that.
Going in Bon Gu and buying some sort of weird cured sausage
Yeah.
by the pound.
Someone cured my sausage once. That's another story.
Did they? That's strange. It's a strange thing to say.
Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Lincoln, of course, have got the finest named footballer in England at this time.
Yep.
Matty Virtue.
Wow.
That's a good name.
That's very good, yeah.
He plays in their midfield. This is the kind of game that aspirationally we want to be, that's a no-nonsense home win. At the moment, nothing's a no-nonsense. No, nothing's an expected win for us, is it?
Not really, no. We had a good result against Cambridge. Obviously, they're worse than Lincoln.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the worst teams of the season, I would say.
yeah.
Cambridge.
I think we should still be aiming. Obviously, we're running out of like games where you go like, yeah, we're, definitely could win that. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's one of the more winnable matches I'd say that's left. Being a home match, them not exactly being high flying.
Yeah.
I think I'm positive about it, given the last couple of games. We've got no new injuries to speak of, so he's got the whole kind of squad to pick from. I'd like to see us go with the same team as played against Cambridge at St James Park, to be honest.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Yeah, I mean, the only possible
Although maybe
change...
there's something to be said for Stano coming on as an impact sub,
Yeah. Well, I think, in a sense, that plays into him,
Sort of, it's quite terrifying, isn't he, at that stage in the game, I think.
He is.
Whereas usually he sort of comes off at that stage of the game, having kind of worn himself out by sort of chasing around.
Yeah, he's a bit unrefined, isn't it? I suppose if we're boiling it down.
Well, yeah, I think that's a given, yeah.
So, well, yeah, I guess as things spread out, as the game moves on, an unrefined, impish type player into the mix.
Yeah.
Mixes it right up, doesn't it?
Do you think now with his bleached hair,
Yeah,
that Jay Stansfield looks a bit like Gaz Top?
who's Gaz Top?
Is that guy who used to be on How To?
How to Gaz Top?
You don't remember him?
No, I'm struggling to remember that. Sorry.
Oh, come on. Listeners, do you know who Gaz Top is?
Gaz
And
Top.
do
What
you-
was How To? A kids show?
Yeah, How To. It's like, I think it was a sort of 70s program called How. How for Now.
How for now?
And it would sort of be like, how do windmills work? And, how do you get blood out of a stone? I don't know. How... Look, him. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, vaguely. I don't remember what How To was.
Well, I think you can watch it all on Amazon Prime, so maybe have a look.
No, this is off topic. But
Very
to get back
much
to,
so.
Giovanni Brown,
Oh.
there's a court hearing. And is that this week or next week?
Well, I think wasn't it supposed to be March the 9th?
Yeah. So that's this end of this week, isn't it?
It's the day after tomorrow.
We still don't know, do we? But it's all gone very quiet. He's there. He's training with the club.
He's definitely there.
He's turning out for things.
We're sort of seeing, Taggy's like posting pictures of him eating his dinner at the new training ground.
Yeah.
So, but then also Taggy's posting photos of himself next to
Conservative MPs.
idiots like Simon Rupp. So, what can we take from that? I don't really know.
If you've seen that photo? Tag and...
I sent it to you.
So you did. It's the perspective of the camera, I know. But Julian Tagg looks like he's got rid of the former Cliff Hill training ground by eating most of it.
Are we body shaming Julian Tagg?
It's just an unfortunate photo.
I think that's probably what it is, yeah.
If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, listeners, look it up. This MP, was the MP for East Devon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a tool. But I don't think we should, this might not be, I don't want to badmouth Taggy. I don't know how he votes. He might have had to have that photo taken. It might have just been it doesn't really matter, does it? If you have your photo taken with a MP, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, also, we know that, planning
that kid
permission...
had his photo taken with Keir Starmer, didn't he? And then he went on Twitter calling him a knobhead and that, so...
Oh, I didn't see that. Anyway, the cat and fiddle's in his constituencies. There's a million reasons why it might have happened. I'm just saying the media team didn't take that photo, and maybe they could have.
Right. The camera adds £10,
Yeah. the meal he's eaten, the training ground seems to have added.
Food's too good. Is this what we're saying?
I don't know. No, I'm just saying.
Make the food worse
I'm
again.
just saying, JT, get someone to veto your photos because you've been done up like a kipper there. You've been done up like the 100 kippers you've eaten.
Have you heard of Facetune?
What's Facetune?
It's that app. It's that app people use to sort of like.
Make yourself look thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more.
I think you just kind of like drag your jowls in a bit with your fingers.
I could do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So Taggy presumably hasn't heard of Facetune.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Anyway, well, how do we get onto this?
Because we were talking about the photo.
Right.
But yeah, Giovanni obviously not just gone back to London and thought, "Oh, I'm leaving that club now." You know, it's a tangled tale, isn't it? And we haven't got to the bottom of it yet, and maybe the court proceedings will tell us a bit more.
Yeah, hopefully. Good to know one way or the other, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm
operating under the kind of thinking that he's not playing for us again.
I would agree with that, but I think for Giovanni's sake, I hope he gets some kind of positive resolution. Like, first of all, I hope that the suggested crimes didn't actually happen in the way that they've suggested. Second of all, I hope that if they didn't happen in the way they suggested, he can, get back to normal.
Yeah, it's a big if. But
yeah, I know it is. The football wilderness is a horrible place, isn't it? And there's a danger that's the place he's heading.
Yep. Well, he's no stranger to it, unfortunately, is he? But
no, alas. There we are. So that's about it, I think, for...
Any other business?
There's no kit update. I want to know about this Adidas kit. It's really got to me. I want to know. I'm looking at other teams that wear Adidas kits.
It won't be long. It won't be long until we sort of start hearing stuff about that. We're getting towards the back end of the season now.
And we don't know about a shirt sponsor either, do we? But we do know Carpet Writer out.
Well, I think that's what's happening, yeah. Maybe who knows? Maybe that's changed. This is sort of like, end of the season stuff, really, isn't it?
Imagine if next year we were sponsored by Simon Rupp, MP.
Oof. No, thank you.
Imagine we were sponsored by the Conservative Party. Wrong colour shirt.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Exeter City women's team are playing at St James's Park this coming
they got
Sunday.
Portishead, haven't they?
Playing Portishead, not the band, the place that the band is named after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sold more tickets than the Argyle game sold. So
Really?
they're over 2,000, I believe, now.
Excellent.
I can't be there, but I would have liked to have been.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go along.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
So last time they just sat everyone in the Doble, Selco.
Yeah.
Obviously, that starts to get towards capacity. So I don't know if they would... What the next thing they do? Open the Stansfield, I suppose.
Why can't we have the big bank?
Don't know.
Do you need more stewards for the big bank? Obviously, it's something to do with that, isn't it?
Are they also making assumptions about who's going, correctly or incorrectly?
What are you trying to say about the big good folk of the big bank?
I don't know what I'm saying, really. But, their first assumption is always, let's sit people down, isn't it?
Right.
For any game. Men's, women's, children's.
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah.
But yeah, I should have thought it'd be well worth opening the big bank.
Hopefully, yeah.
Portishead, and that's FA Cup, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It seems like more of a thing if the big bank's open, doesn't it?
Certainly.
Yeah.
I was watching Manchester United women, and they play at somewhere godforsaken like Lee. Don't they play at Lee Sports Centre or something like that? Lee being part of Bolton. You seen them play there?
No.
It's rubbish. And they've got a big standing terrace, much like the Big Bank, and no one goes there. So they fill it with flags. But, there's like 4,000 people at this game, and they're all somewhere else that you can't see.
Well, we're just going to be odd decisions being made in it as the kind of...
I realise
as the women's game kind of progresses.
Yeah.
Like, you hope at some point it will just flatten out and they'll just be normal about things.
Well, you'd wonder why they won't put it at Salford City. That would seem the obvious thing to do. There we are.
Well, they probably don't want their pitch getting all churned up. We wouldn't, would we? Like week in, week out.
No, maybe not. Okie doke.
Yeah.
That's not that. Oh, I'll tell you the other thing that's happened. Pedro, we have to learn how to say his name.
Yes.
Pedro Borges.
Yeah, Borges, I think, yeah.
Signed, I've completely forgotten the terminology, but
professional
signed
contract.
Professional contract,
yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, he's someone who came in fairly recently, isn't he? He's Portuguese, isn't he?
Is that right?
From somewhere or other. And he's obviously done well, and they've signed him up.
Yeah. So that's
He's still young, isn't he? So I expect he'll be on loan somewhere again next season. And
well, he's another one on the conveyor belt, isn't he?
definitely.
Great to see.
Well done, young man.
Well done, young fella. Look forward to seeing you and talking about you and wondering why you did a weird pass in the future.
Very much so.
Which is the pathway that all players aspire to, I'm sure. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week with all the hottest news. Maybe we'll know about Giovanni. We'll certainly know about Lincoln City.
Yeah, I might shoehorn something in about Ivor Dewdney pasties next week, but I'm just going to leave that one. I'm not going to say anything about it this week. I'm just going to leave it hanging. That's for another time.
Okay. And you can tell us about how the women's team got on.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.